am so excited to be together again cooking in the kitchen. Today we are learning how to make the perfect pancakes for one. This breakfast uses 7 ingredients, most of which we already have in our kitchen. It will cook in our frying pan or on our griddle for just 5 minutes, and we will make 3 fluffy pancakes. We're gonna have fun making this together today, and I'm so glad you're here.
All is calm and all is bright tonight.
Now, the first step to cooking and working in the kitchen is to wash our hands. While I wash my hands with soap and warm water for at least 20 seconds, let's go over the ingredients and supplies that you'll need to gather to cook along today. The ingredients you'll need are 1 cup of flour, 1 egg, 3/4 cup of milk, half a tablespoon of sugar, 1 teaspoon baking powder, 1/4 teaspoon vanilla extract, 1/4 teaspoon salt, and cooking spray. The supplies you'll need are a small frying pan or griddle, small mixing bowl, liquid measuring cup, 1 cup dry measuring cup, half a tablespoon, 1 teaspoon, 1/4 teaspoon, a whisk, and a spatula. Okay, great. Your hands are clean and my hands are clean. We've gathered our ingredients and supplies, so let's get started making our perfect pancakes for one. This is just a great breakfast to make for ourselves. It only makes 3 pancakes. There's just a couple ingredients in case you don't have a pancake mix at home or in your cupboard. There's a couple ingredients that we can make them from scratch. So let's get started. Now you are either gonna need to use a small frying pan if you wanna cook it on the stove, or like I'm going to do today, you can have a griddle. So if you're using a griddle, you're gonna wanna plug it in and set it to 350 degrees. That's what our pancakes will cook on, so we want it to start warming up. If you are gonna use a frying pan and your stovetop, you're gonna wanna set that on there and put it on medium so it can start to warm up. We'll put some cooking spray on it in a minute, but let's just let those start to get warmed up. The next thing you're gonna wanna do is grab your small mixing bowl and put that right in front of you because we want to do our dry ingredients first, and then we'll do our wet and add it to the dry ingredients. So put your mixing bowl right in front of you, and then you're gonna grab your 1 cup dry measuring cup. It's the one that says just 1, it's the biggest one today. And then you're gonna also grab your flour. Right, and I'm going to do 1 cup of flour into my mixing bowl here. Let's see how I wanna do this. All right, get it in. Okay, so we've got 1 cup of flour, and then you're gonna wanna save your dry measuring cup. We're gonna use this to scoop out our pancake batter. So you can just set that to the side. But you can put the rest of your flour to the side because we are done with that. We just need 1 cup of flour. And now you're going to grab your sugar and your half a tablespoon. So this is the one that says 1/2 TBSP, and we need half a tablespoon of sugar. So not too much sugar. Half a tablespoon of sugar goes right into our mixing bowl. You can put your half a tablespoon to the side. We are done with that. You can set your sugar to the side. And then you need to grab your baking powder. This is what helps our pancakes get nice and fluffy. And we need our 1 teaspoon. So this is the one that says 1 TSP. And we need 1 teaspoon of baking powder. I've got my baking powder. Just gonna give it a little shake to get a nice level scoop, and into our mixing bowl it goes. You can put your teaspoon to the side. We're done with that. Set your baking powder to the side. Our last dry ingredient is going to be the salt, and we only need 1/4 teaspoon. So you'll grab your smallest one today. It says 1/4 TSP, and then grab your salt. And we're gonna do 1 scoop, 1/4 teaspoon scoop of salt right into our mixing bowl. Now we will use this again for the vanilla extract, so go ahead and put that to the side. Don't put it away. Keep it close. And now I'm just going to grab my whisk, and I'm just going to mix this up. Just want to mix those ingredients together before we work with our wet ingredients. And the biggest thing I want to do is just make sure the baking powder gets all mixed around, because you don't want to eat a chunk of baking powder. It doesn't taste very good. So just use your whisk and give it a good stir. Go slow or else your flour will go all over and out of your bowl, and we need most of our ingredients in our bowl. All right, so all I'm gonna do now is just put this to the side. We're gonna mix it in a minute, but now we need to do our wet ingredients. And all of our wet ingredients are gonna be mixed right into this liquid measuring cup. So go ahead and grab your liquid measuring cup, put that right in front of you, and then we're gonna grab our milk. We need 3/4 cup of milk into our liquid measuring cup. So I'm going to now measure this to the 3/4 line, and I have it on a flat surface. It's important when you're measuring a liquid, you want to have it on a flat surface. And I'm just going to measure to the 3/4 line. It might also say 6 ounces on your liquid measuring cup. That's how much milk we need. All right, you can put your milk to the side. We're done with that. And now I'm going to grab my egg, and I'm just gonna crack this egg right into it because we're gonna mix it all together in a minute. So grab your 1 egg that we need, and if you don't feel comfortable, you could always crack your egg into something else and then pour it in, but just go slow. We don't wanna get any shells, so I'm just gonna tap it on the side and gently pull it apart and drop my egg right in there. And then you can put your shells away. We're not using those. Last wet ingredient is our vanilla extract. So go ahead and grab your 1/4 teaspoon again. It's the one that says 1/4 TSP. We used it for our salt. And then grab your vanilla extract. And we just need a very small amount, 1/4 teaspoon. So you need to pour slowly vanilla extract right into this mixture. Now you can put your 1/4 teaspoon aside. We are no longer using that anymore. And you can put away your vanilla extract. And I'm just gonna grab my whisk again, the same one I used for my dry ingredients, and I'm going to mix this together. The biggest thing is I want this egg in here to get broken up and mixed up. So you can kind of see that I'm poking it. I wanna break the yolk, and then I am gonna grab the handle and just stir carefully. I really want that egg to get mixed up. We'll mix it again in just a minute when we pour it into our dry ingredients, but I think it's a little bit easier if we beat our egg in here with our whisk. Now, if your whisk doesn't fit into your liquid measuring cup, you can always just grab a fork and mix it that way too. Some whisks are a little bit bigger than others. Mine seems to fit today. All right, so once you feel like you have your egg mixed up, keep your whisk near you because we're gonna use it. And I'm just going to now take my dry ingredients, put that next to me, and I'm just going to pour this right into our flour mixture. This is what's making our pancake mixture. You can put your liquid measuring cup to the side. We are done with that. And now I'm just gonna take my whisk again and mix this up. Now you could use a mixing spoon if you wanted. I'm just using a whisk because it's what we already used. I don't wanna dirty another dish. So I'm just taking my whisk and we are mixing it all up. The nice thing about my mixing bowl is it's clear. It makes it a little bit easier to see if I have all the flour mixed together. But if you don't have a clear one, you just wanna scrape to the bottom and make sure you don't have any big chunks of flour. It's going to be a little bit lumpy, and that's okay. We don't wanna over-mix it or else our pancakes won't get fluffy like we want them. So I'm just mixing it until I don't see any dry flour, and you are going to have a few little kind of what look like bubbles or little tiny chunks, and that is okay. All right, now you are done with your whisk, so you can set that to the side. And now we are going to get ready to cook this. So what I'm gonna do for me, I'm going to bring my griddle in front of me. So if you're using your stovetop, you're gonna head over to your stove. I have my griddle, which is very warm over here. It's been preheating on 350 degrees. This is where we are going to cook our pancakes. It's very hot, so whatever you're working with, make sure you're not touching any part of the hot part. If you're using your skillet, you're gonna keep a hold of your handle. You'll see I'm not gonna touch any of the surface. I can feel the heat. Now we just need to grab our cooking spray. If you don't have cooking spray, you could also use a little bit of butter. We just need something so that our pancakes aren't going to stick. So if you have your cooking spray, go ahead and spray your pan or spray your griddle. All right, and now we get to start to cook our pancakes. You'll put your cooking spray to the side because we won't use that again. So what I'm going to do now is I have my pancake mixture and I have my 1/4 cup, or my cup that we used to measure our flour. This is actually what I'm gonna use to measure out our pancakes. So I'm just gonna take a big scoop and I'm gonna pour it right onto my griddle. I just find it easier to use this. Now you don't have to dump the whole thing out. Pour as much as however big you want your pancakes to be. If you want to do one huge pancake and you have enough room, go for it. This one, when I fill it up about halfway, it's gonna give me 3 pancakes. So all I'm doing is scooping it up and then slowly pouring it out. Now if you don't have enough room to make all 3 at one time, go ahead and make 1. We'll cook it for 5 minutes and then you could make the other ones. All I'm doing is getting 3 of them on here to fit. And like I said, that is about how much our pancake batter will make, is 3 pancakes. I've got a little bit more, so I'm gonna add a little bit more to this one. But I like using the measuring cup to pour out because then they pour out into little circles as well. I just think it's easier. You can put your pancake batter in your bowl to the side. All I'm going to do now is set a 3-minute timer. So these need to cook on this first side for 3 minutes. Once this timer goes off, we will grab our spatula and we'll talk about flipping them over, but we need to let them cook for 3 minutes. Okay, great, this is exciting. Our 3-minute timer just went off, and now all I need to do is grab my spatula and carefully either hold your handle, hold the side of the griddle that's not hot, and you are going to flip them. You can see that there's some bubbles on here. That means that we're ready to flip. Okay, great. You can see that they're golden in color. They have a little bit of brown, which is perfect. Now we just need to cook them for 2 more minutes on the other side, and then we'll put them on a plate. So I'm gonna set my 2-minute timer, and then they'll be done. All right, friends, this is exciting. The second 2 minutes just went off. So we cooked it for 3 minutes, we flipped them, cooked them for 2 more minutes, and now we're ready to take them off. So if you're using your stovetop, you wanna turn off your burner. I'm going to turn off my griddle, and then I'm just gonna unplug it and grab my spatula, and then just have a plate handy, and just carefully, without touching any of this hot surface, all I have to do is put them on my plate. I'll flip this one over and you can see that it got just as golden on the other side. So 5 minutes was the perfect amount of time to cook our fluffy 3 pancakes. I'm just gonna move my griddle out of the way a little bit. But here we have it. We now have our 3 fluffy pancakes that we have made for ourselves. You can go ahead and grab some syrup, maybe put butter, whipped cream. I sometimes like peanut butter on my pancakes, but with just a couple ingredients and cooking them for 5 minutes, we now have this great breakfast that we can make for ourselves. They smell so good. So I do hope you try and make these or try and make them again. And when you do, let me know how it goes. Leave me a comment. Let me know if you have any questions. You can even send me a picture of how your perfect pancakes turned out. I'd love to get to see your creation, and maybe we could share it next week. Speaking of next week, on next week's episode, which is episode 64, we are learning how to make homemade caramel popcorn. This sweet and salty snack uses just 4 ingredients. We'll actually cook it in our oven for just a few minutes, and we will make 4 cups of popcorn. In order to cook along and make our homemade caramel popcorn next week, these are the ingredients that you'll need to have in your kitchen. 4 cups of popcorn, 2 tablespoons of pecan pieces, which is optional, 2 tablespoons of butter, and 1 tablespoon of honey. Well, friends, our time together today is almost over. I do hope you've enjoyed learning how to make our perfect pancakes for one. I know I had fun, and I already can't wait to cook together again next time. But before you say goodbye to this episode, make sure to click subscribe if you haven't already. You just have to click the little picture of me in the corner. That way you don't miss next week's episode. It'll be out on Friday, and I'll see you then. Bye, friends. Grab a fork. It's time to eat.